listening to Keep Sports News, KSN.
All right, yes. Welcome to another episode of KSN, episode 138. And yeah, if you notice, if you watch the intro of Eric doing the introduction, you notice that the color keeps changing. What's up with that? The color keeps changing. I guess that's what makes it interesting. It's like a very, very bright color. So, I'm back again to talk more about sports, back-to-back episodes. This won't be a long one, which I'm glad it is, because not only don't have much time once again. Remember I told you last episode I bit my lip? Ugh, it hurts. It's kind of painful. So, I may sound different, but I'm just talking in my, I guess, a lower voice, so you might want to turn up your volume, because this microphone volume is the highest it can be, because I don't want to hold it. I don't want to hold it like this the entire time. Can you imagine if I talk like this? All right, so yeah. So, next episode will be on Thursday. So, Thursday's episode might be longer. And then I'll be back again on Saturday and Sunday. Alright. Or maybe Friday and Sunday. So, basically, this week, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes. Wow. 5 episodes this week. All right. But the next episode for sure will be on Thursday. All right. Let's get on the clock. Let's see here. Ready to get on the clock? Listen to this.
You are officially on the clock.
Haha, remember that? From the NFL draft? That's right. Phil Simms. We're gonna do 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I gotta turn down the AC. I always get kind of hot. I mean, it is summer, so yeah. Turn this down. Okay, it won't turn on. What the heck? Keep saying check filter. Alright, what are we doing? Fan, I guess. Cool. Alright, my apologies. Wow, okay. You heard that sound? So, if I sit on my chair fast, it'll make a squeak sound. Like, listen to this. Oh no, it won't do it, but if I sit down, if you're watching, I'm gonna sit down fast. Yeah, that's funny. Alright, officially on the clock. Let me get my document ready. Alright, here we go. Let's get on the clock. We're going to do 3 minutes and 45 seconds, a little bit shorter. So let's see how that goes. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the UFL. That's right. So you see the shirt that I'm wearing, Houston Gambler shirt. I actually released a short. There was like a little score bug error on the game that I watched. All right, so ever since Friday's episode, I watched trying to remember how many games I watched. So ever since Friday's episode, I watched 1, 2, 3. Actually, wait. No, hold. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I watched 5 UFL games since Friday. So the one from Friday evening, I watched the Columbus Aviators at the Birmingham Stallions. I wasn't really paying attention very much to that game, but not much happened. Low-scoring game, but Birmingham was able to get the win. All right. And next game I watched after that was the DC Defenders at the Orlando Storm. That's a big matchup because that's possibly a UFL United Bowl championship preview. Orlando was able to get the victory, and that's how they clinched the playoff. All right, maybe they'll have a rematch. And then Sunday, I watched the Birmingham Stallions at the Columbus Aviators, a rematch, and I believe Birmingham won that game. Okay. And the game after that, late Sunday night, I watched the Dallas Renegades at the Louisville Kings. Louisville has been winning games lately, and they won again. Louisville has a chance to make the playoffs. Can you believe that? Because earlier in the season, they kept losing games, but now they're like on a winning streak. And then the last game I watched was our favorite team's 5-day, or maybe may not be your favorite team next season if you decide to change. St. Louis Battlehawks at the Houston Gamblers. That's why I wore this shirt. The Gamblers actually had a chance, their playoff hopes alive. They had to win this game. They were winning this game throughout the first half. The second half, they did not put much points on the board. And St. Louis put more points on the board, and they were able to beat the Gamblers again. So most likely the Battlehawks are in the playoffs. The Orlando Storm are in the playoffs. I think DC will get in the playoffs. That fourth spot, I think it's either going to be Louisville or Birmingham. I'm hoping it's Louisville, because I don't want to see Birmingham again, even though it's a different team. But I hope DC gets in the championship because it's in DC. I've said this for the past couple of years. I'll say it again. In my opinion, the championship game should not be at a neutral site. I feel like the best team should host the championship. You're going to say, well, that's not fair. Well, it is what it is. Would you rather have a full house, almost a full house capacity crowd for the championship game? Or would you rather have a shit ton of empty seats like we've seen the past couple of years? I'd rather see the home team hosting it. If the UFL gets popular, if it ever gets popular, then okay, have it at a neutral site. Okay, well, hey, perfect timing. I got some games to catch up on. I know the Final Four is this weekend. So I'm hoping to be all caught up by then. All right, next is WWE's Clash in Italy. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that because I just watched that event. Not the full event, but I recorded the first hour on ESPN. I guess they're doing this permanently, where they show the first hour on ESPN for free. And I was surprised that the two main championships, the Undisputed Championship and the Women's World Title, were both shown on ESPN television for free. First match, Cody Rhodes against Gunther. I remember I made a short of my predictions. I picked Cody to win, and he won, and it looked like Gunther's foot was underneath the ropes, but the referee didn't see it. So that is how Cody retained. Second match was a rematch at WrestleMania between Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. I thought Jade Cargill would win the rematch because look at her body, you know what I'm saying? But no, Rhea Ripley was able to beat her again. Charlotte Flair got involved. We might get a Charlotte Flair Jade Cargill match. I can see that happening. I'd like to see that match, honestly. And then the rest of the matches, since I don't have the ESPN, the new app, I just watch the highlights on YouTube, which that's good enough. At first I'm like, wait, is Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar the main event? No, it wasn't. It was the third match, the only non-title match. Brock Lesnar was able to get the victory by doing, 7 finishers? His F5 finisher, he did that 7 times. I don't know what to think of that. I mean, Brock Lesnar's a tough son of a bitch. He is. But at the same time, I wish Oba Femi won again, because I was hoping he can go on a long undefeated streak like Goldberg and Asuka did. I think most people were probably thinking the same thing. But now Oba's in the King of the Ring tournament. Oba has to win the King of the Ring. And if you win the King of the Ring, you get a world title match at SummerSlam. So maybe this is where we'll get Oba Femi versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Unless if he chooses Cody Rhodes. Because you get the pick, alright? So, yeah. I'll be shocked if Oba doesn't win King of the Ring. And then the next match, Becky Lynch against Sol Ruca. I was surprised that Becky Lynch lost the title that soon. Sol Ruca shocked the world. She's very athletic. Who knows? Are we going to get a Becky Lynch, AJ Lynch, or not AJ Lynch, AJ Lee rematch again? Oh boy. Then of course the main event was the rematch between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. And yeah, I just knew Roman was going to win. I just could not see him losing the title anytime soon. Looked like it was a pretty good match, though. So I wonder what's next for Roman. Because Solo Sikoa was there at the end of the match. Are we going to get a Reigns versus Solo match? I don't know. But seemed like Clash of Italy was a pretty good event. And I did watch the pre-show as well as the post-show. They're going to stay in Europe for quite some time. It's the European tour, I guess you want to call it. Next is the French Open. Another upset happened. Remember the birthday wishes? One of them was Iga Swiatek. Well, she lost on her birthday. Can you believe that? Yeah. That sucks. She lost to this Ukrainian player. She was just cruising along the match. So she's now going to face another Ukrainian player by the name of Alina Svitolina. I kind of hope she wins the whole thing, Svitolina. She's married to Gael Monfils. Alina, I'd say she is the best player that hasn't won a Grand Slam, just like Alexander Zverev on the men's side. So it would be cool to see those two finally win their first Grand Slam. How about Mira Andreeva? How old is she? 18? 19? It's about the same age as you, 5-Tayer. She's going to be taking on a player that's almost twice her age. Sorana Castera, is that her name? From Romania. Wow, 36 years old. She said, I heard it's going to be her final French Open. Maybe not after this performance that she's been having at this tournament. I still think Sabalenka's going to win the whole thing. She's going to face Naomi Osaka. Now, by the way, I am behind watching this. I'm like a day behind, so some of these matches that I'm talking about already happened. Try not to get spoiled. But, hey, that's okay. That's the great thing about YouTube TV. Without YouTube TV, I would have to just look up the scores. I mean, yeah, you can watch the highlights, but the problem with YouTube highlights, I don't know if they still do this crap, is that they show the winner in the thumbnail. They do. A lot of times, they show the winner in the thumbnail, and that's just stupid. It should always be both players in the thumbnail. I'm hoping they stop doing it because I did not check the French Open's YouTube channel. So the men's side, Alexander Zverev has to be the favorite, unless if he lost. I don't know. He has to win this. And I know if he does win this whole thing, there's going to be haters out there saying, oh, he didn't have to face Novak. He didn't have to face Yannick. He didn't have to face Carlos. Oh, well. It is what it is. Yes, the bottom line is, it would be like, yeah, the bottom line, he won it. What can you say? What can you say, man? What can you say? But this is his chance. This is his chance. And he's really good. He's really good on clay. And I think he's playing really well. He's taking on a Spaniard player named Rafael Nadal. The youngster. I think that match already happened. Maybe not. I don't know. Because I don't want to look up the schedule because it's going to give away some of the results. Sabalenka will be facing Naomi Osaka. That's a very interesting match. So, yeah. We're getting down to, the final couple days of the tournament. It'll be interesting. Still got, what if Francis Tiafoe or Felix Auger-Aliassime make the final? What if those two face each other? Oh, that would be awesome. That would be really cool. But yeah, French Open has been very, very interesting. This is like the most upsets I've seen on both the men and women's side. Okay, so here we go. Next, Stanley Cup Final and NBA Finals predictions. Here we go. The final two teams on both leagues. Their championship series begins tonight and tomorrow night. You know what? Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final could have happened last night, now that I'm thinking about it, because nothing really big happened on Monday night. And then you could have had the NBA Finals on Tuesday night, but the thing is, the NBA, they already scheduled their finals schedule like 3 weeks ago. So, yeah. But yeah, tonight would have been Game 7 of the East Final, okay, of the NHL playoffs. But otherwise, Game 1 would be on, Thursday night? But they want to have it sooner. Why not? Why not, why wait till Thursday? So, Carolina Hurricanes against the Vegas Golden Knights. The Hurricanes have home ice advantage, but maybe home ice may not matter. I think this will be a great series. I'm hoping it would go 7 games, because why not? I'm not really going to be rooting for a team. Well, I mean, if it does go 7 games, might as well root for the home team, which in this case would be Carolina. So I guess I will cheer for Carolina. I know you will, 5-Tear, because for whatever reason you don't want Vegas to win it. Should be a good series, but I know Carolina's the favorite, but something tells me that Vegas is going to keep that train rolling. I think Vegas is going to do it in 7 games, or maybe 6. If it's 6, they'll get home ice. We'd like to see hey, it would be great to see the home team win it anyways. Let's see. I'll give you my predictions on all 7 games. I think Carolina, I think they'll win Game 1. Vegas will win Game 2. Vegas will win Game 3. Okay. Carolina will win Game 4. So that's what? Series tied 2-2. Okay, so if you see my fingers, this is Carolina. Alright. And this is Vegas. So I got Carolina taking Game 1, Vegas taking Game 2, Carolina taking... No. Vegas taking Game 3, Carolina taking Game 4, Carolina taking Game 5, Vegas taking Games 6 and 7. Yeah, that is my prediction. I might as well use the rest of this clock because I'm not going to have much time to talk about the NBA. I'll wait until that clock hits 0, then I'll reset it. Yeah, I think it'll be a great series. Going to be on ABC. 5-Tear, I know you don't like Sean McDonough on hockey for whatever reason, but you like him on college football more, so yeah. So, wait, how do you know that Sportsnet will have a broadcast? How do you know that? Because you don't have Sportsnet, right? I guess you follow their social media. I remember I saw on your Twitter, you follow like over 3,000 accounts, which is pretty crazy. That's a lot. I followed like over 700, I think. I mean, that's a lot though, but you followed like over 2,300 more accounts than me. All right, now to the NBA Finals. That begins on Wednesday night. New York Knicks against the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs get home court advantage, which I think that really matters. Now the Knicks, their last game, I forget when their last game was. I think I know. I think it was on Memorial Day Monday? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Memorial Day Monday. The Knicks' last game played because they won on a sweep. So we're talking 9 days. Tomorrow night would be 9 days since the Knicks last played. I wonder if they're going to fall apart in Game 1 like the Carolina Hurricanes did in the East Final. I think this will also be a great series. I have to cheer for the Knicks. It's been forever. But I'm kind of glad San Antonio's in the final. We get to see the tallest player in the league against those Knicks. Just like the Stanley Cup final, I hope the home team wins. I think... Here's my prediction. I know the Spurs are the favorite, but I think the Knicks can keep that hot train going just like the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm going to pick the New York Knicks to win 6 games, which means they'll be hosting Game 6. I want to see the Knicks win it at the Garden. That would be the story of the year. Period. That would be the story of the year. Yeah. Here's my prediction. I got... I got... Who the heck knows? All right, I'll say the Knicks win Game 1. Spurs win Game 2. Okay, this is the Knicks. This is the Spurs. Knicks win Game 1. Spurs win Game 2. Knicks win Game 3. All right. I think it'll be back and forth. Knicks will also win Game 4. So they're up 3-1. Spurs win Game 5. And the Knicks will win Game 6. 4-2. 4 games to 2. That's my prediction. I'll be shocked if this is one-sided, just like the Stanley Cup final. Hey, the Knicks, they've won, 10 in a row, I think? That's crazy. I wonder if John McEnroe is going to fly all the way from Paris to New York, and then he'll fly from New York all the way back to Paris. I don't know. We'll see. Should be an interesting series. But yeah, both are on ABC. Can you believe that? Yeah, almost every night there's going to be a game on ABC. I wonder if next year NBC will host the finals. I wonder if they're going to alternate, just like in the NHL. They'll alternate between ABC and TNT. Because I would like to hear Mike Tirico call an NBA Finals. But I like ABC's coverage. Hey, the best part about this year's final, we get to see the Inside the NBA crew at the finals for the first time, right? Because TNT never hosted the finals. which is kind of a damn shame, you know. So, all right. Anything else? Let's see. Okay, let's take a look at the MLB standings. Now, you know I haven't been following the league because, you know, the problem is their season is right in the middle of all this other events. But hey, unless if you're a big fan of the league, then good for you, I guess. But I'm not, so I'm not really paying attention very much. Okay, so let's take a look at the standing. I'll just do my phone instead of, you know, all this clicking. I think I've only watched like 3 or 4 games total. The last game I watched was that the Atlanta Braves, Chicago Cubs on TBS a few days after Ted Turner's passing. Alright, let's see the standings. Alright, American League East, Tampa Bay Rays, still in first place. The New York Yankees are 1 game behind. Alright. Toronto Blue Jays are 8.5 games behind. It'll be a shame if that team doesn't make the postseason after making the World Series. Almost winning it, too. AL Central, Guardians, they're in first, followed by the Chicago White Sox, 1.5 games behind. The Detroit Tigers, that's a shame. That team's not going to make the postseason. Tarek Skubal's out, right? Is he going to have surgery on his elbow, I think? Or his wrist, I'm not quite sure. I know he's injured. And the AL West, the Seattle Mariners. Okay, they have been winning games. They're in first place, 32-29. Followed by the Texas Rangers and the Anaheim Angels. That's the shame team. All these years with Mike Trout, you know what I mean? What a shame. National League East, Atlanta Braves. Wow, 40 wins. Clearly the best team. Both the Philadelphia Phillies and the Washington Nationals, 9.5 games behind. New York Mets, that's also a big shame. All that money they spent. NL Central, still the best division in the league because all the teams have more wins than losses. The Milwaukee Brewers, 36-21. St. Louis Cardinals, Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Chicago Cubs are all 5.5 games behind. Wow. And the National League West, the LA Dodgers, 38-22. The Padres must have been losing games lately. Let's see here. Yeah, the Dodgers, they won 7 out of the last 10 games, as well as the Brewers. And in the American League, the Seattle Mariners have won 7 in a row, 8 out of their last 10 games. And yeah, the standings have changed quite a bit. But, you know, still have about less than 4 months remaining in the regular season. Yeah. All right. Okay. And that's it for that. And as a matter of fact, that is it for the topics to talk about. So, let's get right into the birthdays. Not many birthdays, which I'm glad, because I'm sure you're glad about that too, 5-Tair. Alright. So, because, you know, don't have much time. We got 2 birthdays today and 3 birthdays tomorrow. So that's a total of 5. 5! Yeah. Is that your favorite number, 5-Tair? It has to be, right? Okay. Name an athlete that wears number 5. Hey, if we do a podcast together, that should be a thing. Name an athlete that wears this number. Maybe we can do that. Maybe episode 1. Name an athlete that wears number 1. Doesn't have to active or former player. Maybe we can do that. We'll have to do another call. Maybe, I don't know, pretty soon. Not this weekend. Maybe the weekend after. We'll definitely do one at the end of this month, because at the end of this month we'll be halfway through the year. We'll, I guess, recap the first half of 2026. All right, the first birthday today is a legendary pro wrestler, Lawrence Wendell Pfohl, but he's known as Lex Lugar. Lex Lugar, born in Buffalo, New York. He's known as Lex Lugar, the total package, and the narcissist. This professional wrestler won 1 WWA World Heavyweight Championship, 2 WCW World Heavyweight Championships, and 5 NWA-WCW United States Heavyweight Championships. Before fame, before beginning his wrestling career, he played football for both Pennsylvania State University and the University of Miami, and went on to play for the Canadian Football League's Montreal Alouettes and for the United States Football League's Jacksonville Bulls, Memphis Showboats, and the Tampa Bay Bandits. Wow. Trivia: in 1993, he was named Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine's most popular wrestler of the year. He has accumulated more than 100,000 followers on his X profile, or Twitter. I still call it Twitter, by the way. I know some people still do, some people still don't. I still call it Twitter because it still looks like Twitter. Family life: he was raised in the Buffalo suburb of Orchard Park, New York. He was married to Peggy Fulbright from 1981 to 2003. They had children named Brian and Lauren. Associated with, he and fellow wrestler Bret Hart were co-champions in the 1994 Royal Rumble event. So yeah, Lex Lugar. He basically became the new star after Hulk Hogan left the World Wrestling Federation. So Vince McMahon, the owner at the time, had to build a new star. This is called the New Generation era. And Lex Lugar was the top guy for quite some time. He was known as the American wrestler. Comes out in his American gear, crowd would go crazy. He had the Lex Express bus. He had this big match against Yokozuna at SummerSlam in 1994, I want to say. Oh, what the heck? My camera's... I think I accidentally pressed down on the button. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Lex Lugar, very muscular wrestler. He's so strong. He even body slammed Yokozuna. Isn't that insane? On the 4th of July, 1993. That's crazy. I think Vince McMahon was on the call. You can look that up. Just naming some great moments from Lex Lugar's career. And then he left WWF to join WCW. The same night he got released, I believe. He made his debut in WCW on the first episode of Monday Nitro in 1995 in the Mall of America. That's right, the first episode of Monday Nitro was broadcasted inside the Mall of America in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Or no, I think it's Bloomington, Minnesota, but it's in Minnesota. Yeah, isn't that crazy? And then he became a big star and joined the New World Order, the Wolfpack. The rest is history. And I think that was after WCW went out of business. That was pretty much the end of his career. He actually dated Miss Elizabeth, Macho Man Randy Savage's former wife, and then sadly Miss Elizabeth died at a young age. And finally Lex Lugar got inducted into last year's Hall of Fame. And yeah, they mentioned a 1994 Royal Rumble event. That's true. Both Bret Hart and Lex Lugar were declared double winners, co-winners of the 1994 Royal Rumble match. It's funny because both wrestlers' feet touched the ground. I don't know if that was planned. If so, that's crazy how they planned that out. But they didn't thought of restarting the match. The same thing happened in 2005. Batista and John Cena feet both touched the floor, and Vince McMahon got so mad he tore his quads while he was entering the ring, which was nuts. But he didn't want a repeat of 1994, so instead he restarted the match. So yeah, another wrestler who recently got inducted into this year's Hall of Fame, recently retired. You might know who I'm talking about if you're a fan of today's product. Neal Jones, also known as the phenomenal AJ Styles. He's 49. Isn't that crazy? 49. American wrestler, born in Jacksonville, North Carolina. American wrestler who became the WWE World Champion in 2016. He was also a 3-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion during his time in Total Nonstop Action Wrestling from 2002 to 2013. He later signed the WWE SmackDown brand. Before Fame, he earned a partial college wrestling scholarship before eventually enrolling into the professional wrestling school. Trivia: he became the first TNA wrestler to be named the #1 wrestler on Pro Wrestling Illustrated's PWI 500 list in 2010. Family life: he was born, he has 3 sons, AJ, Avery, and Albury, and a daughter named Annie with his wife Wendy Jones, whom he married in 2000. Associated with, he defeated Booker T to claim one of his TNA championships. So yeah, AJ Styles, great wrestler. Went to New Japan, TNA. Then we finally made his WWE debut at the 2016 Royal Rumble match. The crowd went crazy. He got a huge pop. Then yeah, he became the big star. And then they introduced the brand split. 2016. You got wrestlers assigned to Monday Night Raw and wrestlers assigned to SmackDown. Back then, SmackDown was on Tuesday night, so AJ Styles became the top guy on SmackDown. And then the year after that, that was when I started watching it, and I became a big fan of it. Then AJ Styles won the WWE Championship. And I liked him, but after a while, I got kind of tired of him being champion. He got kind of stale for me. He was champion for like a year, basically. Yeah. I'm not sure if he ever won that title ever since. He might have won a United States Championship. Oh, yeah, he did before he won the WWE Championship. But I don't know if he won another title after he lost that WWE Championship in 2017. He might have. And then he turned heel, and I liked him even more. He faced Undertaker in the Boneyard match at WrestleMania 36 in 2020, the COVID pandemic year. That was a really cool match. And he recently retired. He lost to Gunther. And then he immediately gets inducted to the Hall of Fame. I don't get that. Like, what the heck? Some wrestlers, they have to wait 30 years to get inducted to the Hall of Fame, but not him. Okay. I don't know. I mean, yeah, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes, of course, but this soon, right after he retired? I don't know. I guess he really is retired. If he comes out of retirement, I'm going to be like, what the heck, you know? All right, early birthday. First one we got is Jamie McMurray, 50 years old. NASCAR racer who won the 2010 Daytona 500, driving the #1 car for Chip Ganassi Racing. He was also the 2014 Sprint All-Star winner. Before fame, he began his professional racing, almost said wrestling, career in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. They spelled. They didn't type in truck. They typed in true. It says true. NASCAR's Camping World True Series. Whoever wrote this, come on. You should be ashamed of yourself for not checking for spelling. Now, okay, Camping World Truck Series in 1999. Trivia, he was named the Winston Cup Series Rookie of the Year in 2003. Family life, he married Christy Fruttrell in July 2009. Associated with, he defeated Jeff Gordon at the 2010 Daytona 500. So yeah, I do remember him back when I got into NASCAR over 10 years ago. And yeah, drove number 1. I believe his car was McDonald's as well as Bass Pro Shop. I think his car is like a black and red type of color, kind of like Tony Stewart's car, number 14. But I remember he was always number 1. He always had that number 1 car. All right, next birthday, early birthday, is another professional wrestler, active this time. On the women's side, Jade Cargill. Yes, we just talked about her. Just lost. I was hoping she would win, to be honest with you. So, Jade Cargill. That is her real name, by the way. Some wrestlers, they go by their real name, but most of them don't. Wrestler and social media star who has gained fame on her Instagram account. She has gained massive popularity for her toned and muscular physique showcased through regular modeling shots. She has also been a professional wrestler for All Elite Wrestling, AEW. In September 2023, she signed a multi-year contract with WWE. Before fame, she began using her Instagram account in April of 2013. She played college basketball for Jacksonville State University and earned her degree in 2014. Trivia, she has seen her Instagram audience grow to more than 1.8 million followers. She has worked as an online fitness coach. Family life, she has a daughter named Bailey with her husband Brandon Phillips. Brandon Phillips. Listen to this. Associated with, she's been in a relationship with MLB second baseman Brandon Phillips. I remember Brandon Phillips. Played for the Cincinnati Reds. Brandon Phillips is married to Jade Cargill. How about that? How did they meet? How'd they met? Does that mean Brandon is a big fan of wrestling? Maybe so. Some of these sports athletes, yeah, they watch it, you know? You never know. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. Brandon Phillips. Great hitter, as well as a great second baseman. So Jade Cargill, yep. I remember when she was on AEW. I never got into AEW, to be honest with you, but I heard that she was a long reign champion there for like a year or so, and then she finally decided to leave AEW and then joined WWE, and then she became she didn't make her debut right away. I guess she took time off, but then when she made her debut, they were finally using her. Then she eventually became one of the top women wrestlers on there. And a lot of people, they compare her to Chyna because of her physique, muscular physique. Her finisher, I forgot the name of it, but her finisher is like Beth Phoenix's finisher. Legendary female wrestler Beth Phoenix's finisher. Very similar. I like that finisher. It's really cool. But yeah, I mentioned Jade earlier. To be honest, I was hoping that she would regain that championship. Payback on Rhea Ripley, but, well, she did pin her at Saturday night's main event, but that was a 6-woman tag, but one-on-one, she wasn't able to get the victory. But now, at the same time, I'm interested if she is going to face Charlotte Flair in a future WWE Premium live event. One more birthday. Rafael Nadal. The King of Clay. That's right. Perhaps the greatest clay court player of all time. as well as the best left-handed player of all time. Grand Slam tennis champion who has an astounding 14 French Open titles. That'll never happen again, I don't think. He won Wimbledon in 2008, in 2010, the Australian Open in 2009, and the US Open in 2010, 13, and 17. He also won the Australian Open in 2022. See, this is the problem with famous birthdays. They don't really update things. Before fame, he played many sports in high school, but had to quit football when homework, football, and tennis conflicted. Trivia: he is known for his ongoing feud with fellow tennis legend Roger Federer. As the two have met in several memorable Grand Slam tournaments, he became a model for Giorgio Armani in 2011. Family life: the Spanish Tennis Federation asked his family to let him move to Barcelona to complete his tennis training when he was 14, but they refused, saying he could be a good athlete. From home, his sister is Maria Isabel Nadal. In October 2019, he married model Maria Francisca Perello. They had a son, Rafael Jr. In 2022. In April 2025, they announced they were expecting their second child together. Their second son, Miquel, was born in August 2025. Associated with Novak Djokovic, replaced him as the world's #1 tennis player in 2011. So, yes, Rafael Nadal became the second biggest star behind Roger Federer, and then Nadal started beating Federer at Wimbledon and the Australian Open, and that's how he became #1. That rivalry was very special. That's like the most loved rivalry, but it's not the greatest rivalry. The greatest rivalry is Nadal-Djokovic, because, man, they faced each other, I think, 60 times, and I think Novak leads 31 and 29. I mean, wow. That has to be the greatest rivalry ever in men's tennis in terms of the numbers. But yeah, the big three era, I mean, wow. Who knows? There may not be another era like that ever again in men's tennis. And it's funny how Rafael Nadal, the way he talks, he's got that accent, he's a very likable guy. The ladies would go crazy for him, so. Yeah, Rafael Nadal. Sadly, a couple years ago, he had an injury where basically forced him to retire. I think it was at the Paris Olympics 2024. But can you believe that? He won 2 Grand Slam titles in 2022. He broke Roger Federer's most career Grand Slam titles. Rafael Nadal, what a fighter. What a freaking fighter he is. Alright, now that's all the comments, or the birthdays. But hey, I mentioned comments. We got a comment from 5Tayer, the MVP of this channel. Thank you, 5Tayer, for commenting, because it's really only you at this point. Without you, this would be a damn shame, I guess. You said, I'm looking very forward to the NBA Finals, more so than the Stanley Cup Final, partially because of the Golden Knights being in it, and I enjoy watching basketball more than hockey. But I will be rooting for the Hurricanes. Okay. And I'm leaning towards the Spurs, but I don't mind New York winning it either. Oh, so you prefer the Spurs winning it over the Knicks? I remember you said you're not a fan of New York sports. I forgot why. Is it because it's New York? But why not? You want to hear the Knicks theme song? Go New York, go New York, go. How old is that song? That sounds like an old song. Go New York, go New York, go. They play that on Stephen A. Smith's show. His podcast. But yeah, rematch from 1999. It's gonna be cool. But you like watching basketball more than hockey. I'm the opposite. I like watching hockey more than basketball. I'm sure you're probably not surprised to hear that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of hockey, but every time I watch it, I always find it entertaining. So, all right, that will do it. Okay. All right, 50 minutes, a little bit longer than the last episode, but still not a very long one, which I'm glad it is. See you on Thursday. I'm going to recap Games 1 of the Stanley Cup Final and the NBA Finals. See you then.
KSN. KSN.